This video was made possible by the EA Creator Network. Hello everyone. Welcome on in. I'm Velvet. Thanks for joining me today in The Sims 4 for a fantastic speed build. So this speed build is quite a lovely one. I enjoyed making this. It's a cozy, it's not really a little cottage, but it's a cozy cottage. And it's kind of like a little farmlet cottage kind of hybrid thing. And I had a lot of fun with the landscaping of this and getting creative with the landscaping. So I hope you guys have fun watching me put this build together. This build was created for the Shedford Hollow collaboration, and this is my first time joining that collaboration. I got sort of like an opportunity to join it kind of last minute. Somebody dropped out, so I got a little place in there, and I was quite excited for it because I know a few people in the collaboration, and I was excited to get a chance to work with them on this cool redo of the wonderful world of Henford-On-Bagley, which is quite frankly one of my favorite worlds in The Sims 4. So always excited to build in there. I feel like it's been one of those things where I feel like my cottage game is getting better. Like I've been actively trying to improve like a little bit more of my whimsical builds, and I feel like Enchanted by Nature was one of those packs that really helped me get better with my whimsical builds. So yeah, I hope you guys like this one because I've been trying really hard to get a little better at like cottages and that sort of thing, because normally my bread and butter is modern homes. Like I love a modern home and I love building modern homes, but I do try to spread my wings a little bit and try some different things. So today it's all about a lovely cottage. So the cottage that I'm building is for a couple of guys that live here, and this is on 14 Nettle Lane. So 14 Nettle Lane is a lot that is already occupied when you load into the game. So there's a family already made for this lot, and I did like a little makeover of that family, nothing too major, because I felt the two guys like were already looking like pretty fantastic. They really didn't need my interference to look any better. I just did, a few tweaks, like changed the hairstyle and added like a few different, like slightly more stylish outfits. And yeah, sort of built that around there. And I want to say I know the name of the guys, but I don't. I think it's like Moody and McMillan or something. Oh my gosh, I did know it, but then I forgot it. So yeah, I'm not the best with names as it is. So that probably, oh, you can actually see them. Look, you can see them sort of standing outside the lot. As I turn around, you can sort of see them standing there. It's my couple of guys there that are going to move in, and they're a lovely little couple. So I was excited to build for them. So I definitely tried to capture like a little bit more of a masculine vibe with this build. So hopefully you can sort of see that. I stuck to sort of browns and blues and, like sort of more masculine tones inside the build. I didn't try to put anything overtly sort of girly in there. And yeah, that was kind of my aim as I was building it. On the exterior, the vision that I had on the exterior was I wanted to have the cottage, and I wanted to have the cottage up on a hill. And the idea is that the hill is going to be surrounded by rocks, and then off to the side there's like a river going around, and then off to the side there is, it just occurs to me that river kind of never goes anywhere, but that's fine. It just kind of drops down to an underground cave. All right. It just occurred to me right then. I was like, I didn't even end up like having the river kind of flowing around, so it's just like it just drops down to an underground cave. It's fine. But yeah, I've got the water wheel, because that water wheel that you get in the debug from Cottage Living is actually an active, like it works, like it spins around, so it looks really cool when you're in live mode and you've got like this spinning little water wheel going through the river. So this is what I sort of envisioned in my head as I was thinking about how I wanted to create this build. So yeah, I like this house on a hill, and it's got like rocks around it and like a little bit of land that we can have like some animals on, and maybe some gardening. And yeah, it's like the water wheel running around through the river, and the river kind of going around the house. And yeah, that was the vision that I had in my head as I was creating it. and I hope you guys can sort of see it as it comes to life. So I did end up creating a glass house or a greenhouse. I kind of said it, I just about said grass house because I was about to combine the two words. It's like grass house, greenhouse, glass house, whatever you want to call it. So I did add in like a little greenhouse, and that's good for your gardening. And there's going to be a chicken coop as well. I did try to get the cow shed in there, but unfortunately the cow shed was just a little too big for the space that I had available because I did spend quite a bit of the lot space, which is a 40 by 30 lot, by the way. I spent it on like doing the extras like the river and the rocks, and so there just wasn't really space for the cow shed. You could probably squeeze one in if you were so inclined, maybe, but I don't know, there's not that much space there. So yes, you get a greenhouse, you get a chicken coop, you get a laundry line that's outside, and there's also Patchy. So Patchy's out there. I think there's a bee box. There's a what's it called? A bird house as well. So cute little things like that, like a little bit of outdoor seating. And yeah, I feel like it came together quite nicely. Actually, this is a limited pack build as well. Let me just see which packs that was. So it was Cottage Living, Horse Ranch, Seasons, Cats and Dogs, Outdoor Retreat, Nifty Knitting, Laundry Day, Romantic Garden, Greenhouse Haven, Everyday Clutter, Grange, Mudroom, and Country Kitchen. So a fairly limited amount of packs for this build, and I'm pretty sure I used all of those packs. So yeah, limited pack build, and I feel like those packs were all really super complimentary and very handy in this build. So it was nice to be able to have the everyday clutter kit just to add like those little elements of clutter, and also the Grange mudroom kit. Oh my gosh, that worked so perfectly for the laundry. I was really excited to have that, and also the whole entranceway as well. So it's a really flexible kit, and I absolutely adore it. So I was delighted that that was one of the packs that we got to work with in this challenge. So made me happy. You can sort of see the exterior is coming together here. So I was playing around with doing a darker brown, so that you probably saw that a little bit earlier. I was sort of playing around with the concept of a darker brown, but I ended up feeling like the lighter brown just was a better fit for the styling that I ended up wanting to go with. So yeah, the lighter brown stone I think works really nicely, and we got like the little dormers on the roof, a couple of little chimneys. I did actually remember to put some fireplaces in. I almost forgot, but I did remember fairly, yeah, about halfway through the interior decorating, I was just like, oh, well, I've got chimneys, I've got to put fires in the house. So that was something. And I did use tulle. So I don't usually use a lot of tulle if I can help it when I'm building. But it's one of those things that I think when you're doing landscaping around rocks is extremely useful to use. So I just essentially use it for like resizing a couple of things, and the elevation of the rocks that I put around the house. And that's basically about it. I'm not like the most experienced with tulle, and I don't generally use it a lot, as I said, but every now and then there's just like some things that you want to do in the game that it's just difficult because when it comes to particularly like landscaping and stuff like that, getting the rocks down and the heights that you want it, and to look in the way that you want it to look, it's yeah, it can be certainly very challenging in game to do it without a mod. So yeah, I bowed to my own desire to have have the build looking the way that I wanted it to look, and use a mod. And I don't think there's anything wrong with using the tool mod. It doesn't, at the end of the day, affect anything with your build in game. So if you want to use this build in your game, it's not going to be affected at all by the fact that I use tool, or it shouldn't do, I don't believe. So it just comes down to me just accepting the fact that I want to use the tool mod. I went so long without using it, and now I'm just sort of getting into it and trying a few different things with it. And it's really a case of me just accepting the fact that, you know what, sometimes it's really good to use the tool mod. It is what it is, right? Particularly if I want to do like little fancy things like move these rocks around and, do stuff like that. It really does help with that. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's just the evolution of a building, I guess, at the end of the day. And it doesn't really change anything on the other side of things when you're downloading from the gallery. So, you know what? Why not? So as you can see here, I was just talking about those fabulous rocks and the tool mod, and you can see me in action there just working out getting the right elevation for for these rocks and where I want them to sit and which rocks I want to use and all that sort of thing. And I just kind of worked in some greenery around those rocks as well, because I wanted to, make it still look like it was fairly kind of lush and a little bit overgrown, which is, the vibe that we have in Henford-On-Bagley, if I've got that right. So there we go, a little bit of greenery going in there, just shrinking that down to sit in the place that I wanted it to sit. But yeah, I just got that overall look, and I wanted to, to look like it did belong in Henford-On-Bagley. That was kind of my goal, to make it look like it was like a little cute cottage that's been built on a little awkward space where there's rocks and that sort of thing. And yeah, we've got a cute little river and that sort of thing, and they've just kind of built around these natural obstacles and made their house look like it's a cozy little home right where they want it to sit, like, on the rocks with an amazing view and animals all around. And I did add also, speaking of animals, I did add in a little wild rabbit stump, as well as the our flock of wild birds in the tree stump as well. So I did end up adding those in too. And I love when I'm in live mode and you can see like the birds flying up and you can see the rabbits hippity hopping around the yard and everything like that. It's just like, it's so cute and pastoral and rural and so adorable. So yeah, I absolutely love the fact that we have those options to add these animals to our game, and it's not just a world thing, it's a lot thing that we can add ourselves. Even if the items are locked, there's a cheat around that, so that's fine. And we can have them, hippity hopping around our yard and stuff. It's just absolutely adorable. I love them. It just makes me happy. It's the simple things, right? And I feel like Henford-On-Bagley is all about the simple living. That's what this world is all about, the simple living and living off the land and enjoying a little bit of nature and stuff. I'm just stacking a few bits into the back of the truck, as you saw there, and now I'm working on the fencing. So I did use debug for the fencing, and this is the cottage living debug fencing. I did want to make it kind of uneven and wiggly woggly, so this was definitely intentional. I wasn't intending it to be a straight fence. It just felt like, a little bit of wiggly woggly in a fence just adds to the authenticity of it. Just about stuff that up. But it does, like, it's that little sense of realism where, maybe it's been built a while ago and, they didn't really have, I don't know, what are they called? I'm not a builder. I don't know the name of the tools, but, like a level kind of thing where they do straight lines and stuff. Maybe they didn't have that, and maybe it was just kind of like quite a rustic thing. It just like made it feel more rustic, and that was the idea behind it. So in this backyard area, I decided to create like a little narrow barbecue space. And the reason I wanted to do that is didn't really have any other space or any other place in the yard. Like, I could have done it over by the greenhouse, but it didn't really feel like the barbecue area would fit all that well in that space by the greenhouse. So I decided like to have it right round the back of the house, just down in this bottom section, and it just gave it like a little bit of a purpose to that little area. Oh, plus the other thing that I added to this, and I think we'll see this shortly, is, oh yeah, here it is, like the fishing debug thing, the fishing sign. So you can actually fish off that into your river. So isn't that cool? So you got a little bit of fishing in there. So I think that's really fun. It's nice to have like a few different functional things that you can do in a lot. And, so here we can like, collect eggs and do our chickens. We can do our gardening. We can do our beekeeping. We can do fishing. So, I think that's pretty fun for the yard. I mean, I could have gone in a different direction and done like a little bit more of a farmlet kind of thing and had all like the divided spaces. But I felt like, that had kind of already been done in the collab so far. So I wanted to do something a little bit different from what had been done already in the collab. Mix it up a little bit so that people had some different options if they're going in there and using the hashtag, and they want to use like all of the builds maybe in their save file, just to mix it up a little bit. And I think that's probably not a bad idea, because there are some amazing builds in this and some very talented builders. So it's well worth checking out the hashtag if you get a chance in the gallery and seeing what we all did with it all, because yeah, really good builds, and it just would jazz up your Henford-On-Bagley so much. It really would. So So I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I didn't want to do like, this sort of sectioned off sort of farmlet vibe. Like it's kind of like a little bit of a farmlet because you've got your chickens and you got your garden and that sort of thing, but not really, not in the traditional sense anyway. But you can still have your farm lifestyle without having like the farm vibe, I guess. And honestly, the lot wasn't. I could have done a smaller house, really, because in the house, I mean, I said like it's a 40 by 30 lot, so really I could have done a smaller house and done like a whole big farm thing around it. But this is the direction I went, so it is what it is. And yeah, on the interior, it could actually, because it's only a 2 bedroom home, but realistically, you could probably bump it up to a 4 bedroom home if you were so inclined to make it like a little bit more of a family home if you didn't want to have the original family living there. So, yeah, you could absolutely bump that up easily enough because there is a study and there is a there's a music room slash art room. So there's a couple of rooms that could very easily be converted into bedrooms as well. So I feel like, there's a good flexibility with this build in terms of the size of it. And if you wanted to add to it, then, absolutely just change it out for a bedroom and you'd be off and away. And I did try and very thoughtfully do is put the bees by the door of the greenhouse. Now, I know having bees by the door of a greenhouse is probably not the most ideal thing, but it's kind of useful in the sense that they can then go in and pollinate the plants, right? So that's the whole point of the bees is to go in and pollinate the plants, and then you can collect the honey and blah blah blah. So I needed to have them somewhere, and I felt like having them inside the greenhouse would probably be worse than having them outside the door because imagine if they're swarming inside the greenhouse. It's going to be a lot more unfortunate, and you're trapped inside a greenhouse with these swarming bees versus them like being outside the door and you can just be a lot more capable of avoiding them than if you were inside with them. So this is our little laundry line slash patchy slash rabbits slash birds slash cute little seating area. Like there's the seat going in there now, and yeah, just like a cute little lawn sort of space for the family to hang out. And just finishing off the balcony. So there wasn't too much I wanted to put on that balcony. I didn't want to fill it with things. I did think about doing like a table with an umbrella and stuff on there, but I just didn't feel like it. Just like the choices that I had available to me really fit with the build. So I decided like a rustic little table from Cats and Dogs was probably going to be the better option without the umbrella on top. And this is me just fixing up the landscaping around the side of the build as well, and just really sloping in and sloping in the hill and adding in the landscaping. So I did keep the plants. That's what I'm going for. I did keep the plants pretty similar throughout each of the landscaping spots that I did. So I used, the same, so maybe half a dozen or so plants in and around the build. So I didn't mix it up like a great deal with a whole lot of different wildflowers and different things going on. I kept it pretty consistent throughout. So using some of the ferns, using some of the a couple of times types of peachy flower and grasses and the mushrooms, and that's pretty much it around the place. I love those little mushrooms from the Cottage Living debug. They are just adorable. I've been using them a lot lately. It's just maybe I'm in my mushroom phase. I feel like Enchanted by Nature really put me in a mushroom phase, and I'm still kind of in it in a way. But even if I'm not doing an Enchanted by Nature build, there's still a little bit of mushroom coming out in some of my builds because it's just like they're like this nice narrow line of mushrooms, and they sit so nicely around the side of things and around like the edge of fences and stuff, and you mix it up with like the little grasses from the Cottage Living debug, and yeah, it just looks really cute. So I'm in my mushroom phase. It is what it is. So this is our barbecue area. Kept it pretty simple, just some seating. You can do your fishing, barbecue, and you've got your table to sit there and eat. And then upstairs we've got again another table. I think there's a telescope as well as the chessboard. So some more little options there up on the balcony. And then we're moving on to the interior. So in the interior, it's actually a fairly decent sized house. I fit quite a lot in there. And we have our entranceway coming in. So then we've got a bathroom in beside the entranceway, and then there's a laundry. So I did a separate laundry, and it's a fairly decent sized laundry as well. I mean, technically you can get away with like just a one by one laundry if you really needed to. But I wanted to, because I had the Grange Mudroom kit at my disposal. I wanted to do like a cute little laundry space with, which is mainly decorative, but it is functional as well because it's got the laundry baskets in there as well as the washer dryer. So yeah, I wanted to do like a cute little laundry space. I haven't been doing too many laundries lately, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do a laundry because I've got Grange Mudroom to work with and the Laundry Day kit. Is it Laundry Day as part of? Oh yeah, Laundry Day was one of our kits. One of the packs that we were using. God, I just about freaked out there for a minute. I was just like, oh no, was I supposed to not use Laundry Day? But no, I was. Phew. Whoops! Imagine if I'd done that the whole build and yeah, I didn't have a laundry option. Ugh, that would suck. Anyway, so yeah, so I've got a laundry, and then downstairs we've got a little study area, a separate living room, and then kitchen and dining, which is what we're working on here now. And because we had the country kitchen kit available to us, you know that I leaned into using that because I love that kit. When I get the opportunity, and anytime I'm doing a cottagey style build, I'm going to be using that country kitchen kit because it's just lovely. Like, I love the colors of the counters. I love the styling of it all. It's just so cozy and country and lovely. Oh, this is me just realizing that I needed to change this room to be a little bigger, and that's going to be the study, and then the one off to the side will be the laundry. So the kitchen, I went with blues because I did say earlier on that one of the things that I was conscious of for this build was to make it masculine. So I didn't want to lean into sort of like the girly sort of pinks and yellows and, well, not that they're necessarily girly, but like a little bit more of a feminine vibe when you sort of bring in those maybe more pastel colors, I guess. I don't know. Depends on how you do it. But in this case, I wanted to go blues and browns and, a little bit more sort of masculine for the boys because I felt like, that suited them better. And I love that little kitchen space. I think it's just like, big enough for the two of them. And then you've got like the little dual breakfast nook seating and then the dining table there if you've got extra guests too. So I feel like it's a really nice little space. Nice and cozy. Like you feel like it would be really warm in there. Like, once you get the oven going, like that little space would warm up so nicely. It'd be so cozy in the winter particularly. I was trying to fit like a plant there in the corner. I was just like, that was the only plant. Oh, this is the living room. So in the living room, this is what I'm creating here. I'm just doing like almost like a conservatory seating area. It's not completely blocked off. So it is open with the glass walls and everything like that. But I wanted to do like lots of greenery around there. I thought that would be super cute. And, it's looking over the water wheel. And the idea was I kind of wanted to bring a little bit of the outdoors to the indoors and create just like this lovely sort of gardeny, greens, cute, lovely, romantic space. That's just basically the whole idea behind it. Cute, romantic, green, and somewhere cozy that, the two guys can kind of just sit there and really, spend some time together and enjoy a little bit of couple time. So, they're both elders, the two guys that are moving in here. So, they are they're kind of at the point in their life where they just want to spend their time on the things that they truly love, and that's spending time with each other. And I wanted to create like that little cozy nook for them so they could sit there and enjoy each other's company and just enjoy the view and their whole, the fact that they own this beautiful cottage in the middle of all the sort of the woods and that sort of thing. And they can look out over the chicken coop and the water wheel and the bunnies and the birds and see all these beautiful natural things. So you can sort of see here I've been using the Grange Mudroom kit to create a lovely sort of lounge entertainment area kind of thing going on there. Mix that with some cottage living, and I think that's a laundry day coffee table as well. Oh, that bookcase that I'm putting in here, that gets replaced out, I think, at some point with a fireplace. Now, I don't remember if I got that on as I was recording or not. I think I did. But yeah, that's where the fireplace will go, is where that bookshelf is, because at some point soon I'm going to realize that I need a fireplace. At least a fireplace. I ended up adding two, so it wasn't too bad. The other thing that I struggled with this build was actually finding things to put on the walls to fill the space. And when you are building with limited packs, I feel like that is something that you do tend to struggle with, is particularly if you've got like a bit of wall space to fill, is finding the right things to go on the walls. So I use like wreaths and pictures and, wall hangings, that sort of thing, to the best of my ability. So this is the walk-in hallway area. So this is the front door basically right in here, and because we've got the Grange Mudroom kit, I just wanted to lean into that, have a nice space, lots of storage, lots of hanging items, little bits and pieces of clutter. So you know what, that kit is absolutely perfect. That I think I go back and add a few more things a little bit later. And then this is our laundry space. So the Grange Mudroom kit is the main part of this, as well with laundry day. So I kind of mixed those two kits together quite nicely to sort of create this area and make it all functional. So we've got like a sink, laundry baskets, and washing machine and dryers in here, and pretty much the rest of it is decorative. But I just wanted to make it, like a nice sort of functional storage space slash, you know, yeah, storage space slash laundry. So that's really what it is, and I feel like I managed to do that with the packs that we had. Lots of cleaning space. You just kind of, it's quite nice to have those spaces in your house. It's quite handy, particularly when you have a large house like this one. They're going to have to do like a little bit of house maintenance. So I felt like, having like the storage space slash laundry space would be really good for them to be able to keep the house functional. Then this is the study. So this is the downstairs study, and it has like the desk and computer. And then this is about where I realized that I needed my fireplace. So, yep, there we go. There we go. That's the fireplaces going on. And so I just had to work out what kind of fireplace I wanted to go in there. But I didn't really have a great deal of space. So I ended up just using like I don't know, what are they made of? Steel? Cast iron? I'm not sure. I don't know. I've never thought about what those fires are made of, but like the metallic kind of fires, the ones I mean, the wood stovey type ones. And yeah, the great thing about this build is that as I was building it, the base game was updated with the West African items. So I was lucky enough that I was able to put those items into my build. So I was able to use like the artwork and the rugs and the plants and that sort of thing. So I think it came out like between me doing the exterior and then me doing the interior. So it was like really just like I was building it around that time, and I was just absolutely delighted that I had these new rugs and bits and pieces and like the baskets and the cushions. And although I don't think I used the cushions, but yeah, all the new West African items that we got in base game, and I was just like, yes, because they're earthy colors and they're kind of, got that sort of like, almost a masculine vibe to them, with some of the items. So I thought they were going to be absolutely perfect for this build, and I felt like they fit in perfectly. So I was like, yay, new items to use for this build. This makes me very excited. Uh, so this is me just kind of finding cabinets and bits and pieces to fill a space in the hallway, because I wasn't really sure. I didn't really want to put anything too major on the hallway, because it just seemed like a weird place to put something like that would be functional, like a crafting thing or something like that. It just seemed like a weird place. So I was like, more likely than anything, if you've got a decent space in the hallway, you're probably going to put some sort of storage item, or, a cabinet or a bookshelf or something like that there. So that's what I ended up doing. Oh, I did, I didn't say anything about this earlier, but one of the little things that I was doing around this house is that I was leaving like dirty mugs everywhere, because one of the in my head, what I was imagining was that one of the Sims, one of the guys, had this little bad habit of leaving like their dirty mugs like absentmindedly around the house, and the idea is that it drove their partner absolutely crazy that they left these mugs around the place. So yeah, you'll see like a few little used mugs around the place, and that's just like a teeny tiny little story in my mind about a little interaction and a little personal thing that these two guys have together, where they just kind of drive each other a little bit batty, where one leaves the mug around and the other's just like constantly tidying up the mugs. And just, it's just like one of those like real couple things, just one of those little couple details. And it's not something I even like shared with anyone about that. It was just like, I'm talking to you now about it, and that's the only time I've kind of shared that information, where I've just like, I've had that in my brain as a little detail. And I don't often do that with builds. Oh no, that's not true. I do it with builds as I'm thinking along. If I do have someone specific in mind, I'll come up with like a little story and little things that they'll do depending on what it is. And it just came out in this build in that way. And it just reminded me as I saw that mug earlier, and it just entertained me quite a bit. It's just like a random little thing, but I thought it was a lot of fun. So the Grange Mudroom, not the Grange Mudroom, the hallway sort of evolved a little bit and got a lot more clutter in it, but I think that came together quite nicely. So the total of bathrooms that we have in this build are 3 bathrooms. So there's one downstairs, which is kind of your guest bathroom, and then upstairs there's an ensuite to the master bedroom, and then there's a separate bathroom as well. The second upstairs bedroom is basically a guest bedroom, so it's not designed for anyone in particular. It's just kind of designed as a cutesy little guest bedroom for when they have guests over. And then they have their master bedroom, which is the largest bedroom space. So this one here is the guest bedroom. So I kind of went a little bit different on the colors in this room. As you can see, I sort of kept the stone on the exterior, on the interior as well. I felt like that was sort of like a cottagey thing. I didn't want to wallpaper the inside walls. I felt like I wanted to leave them stone. It just kind of, I don't know. I just like the idea of having the exposed stones on the inside, even if it's probably not the most practical thing and it'll make you cold. But still, it made sense to me. So that's what I did. Anyway, greens and reds for some reason in this room. It just kind of worked for me, and that's the direction I went. So yeah, that's the guest bedroom sort of all kitted out and like a little bit of clutter around the place, and you know, little things that just made it like a little bit lived in. Maybe there was guests staying there at that particular time, but yeah, that's the guest bedroom. And then this is going to be the freestanding bathroom, so this isn't connected to the any of the bedrooms, and it's a good size. I'm just trying to think if I got a bath in there. No, I definitely got a shower and a toilet. Yeah, no, there's no bath in there, so it's just a shower, toilet, and sink set. But I thought it was like a pretty mix, and I used which sink did I use? I think that might be the cottage living one, I think, actually. Because I'm pretty sure that might be the cottage living sink. And just like little bits of clutter and everything like that. I mean, when you are doing limited packs, it is, it can be challenging to find the clutter that you want. But we were fortunate that one of the limited packs happened to be the everyday clutter kit. So, that did make that a little bit easier in terms of having some different clutter options. And I don't often use the kits, or not as probably as often as I'd like to use some of the kits for clutter and stuff, because I'll quite often do limited pack builds, and the kits unfortunately tend to get yeeted over the way, and it just tends to be some of the bigger packs. But it's nice to have those kits, right? They make a difference. So this is the master bedroom, and I wasn't quite sure which colors I was going to do in here. It kind of ended up being determined by the curtains. Not going to lie, it was the curtains. And I was looking at blues, I was looking at kind of oranges, and yeah, I just sort of went with that orangey kind of yellow. I don't know, it's kind of yellow, kind of orange. It's like a little bit in between. It's like maybe a sunrise. I don't know. I don't know what color you call that, but yellowy orange. And because the curtains kind of matched the bed and worked with the bed, so I was just like, you know what, let's go with it, because the curtains are cats and dogs and the bed itself is cottage living. So, mix and matching like different things. I'm using the new lamps that came out with the base game update, so I'm mix and matching all sorts of packs together to give it sort of like a cohesive look. Oh, and I did a little trick in behind the dresser, so I think we'll see that in a minute, where I put in a mirror inside the wall and then used a window on the wall, so that it's the window actually becomes a mirror. So I think, yes, this is me doing it here. So there's a little trick to how you do that, and it's a little fussy to do, but it's actually quite cool that you can have like a window as a mirror. And because I didn't have anything in that room and behind there, and that was a deliberate choice just because of the roofing and stuff and the way that was bothering me, so I was able to use that space to put in a mirror by using a window, because when you do that, the window still shows through on the other side of the wall as well. So you do need to be conscious about what you're doing on the other side of a wall when you are doing that particular trick. But I do love that, because it means that you can do like a lot more unique mirrors. And yeah, I felt like that particular window / mirror that I did really did suit the room. It was something a little different. Okay, guys, well, I'm going to leave you there. Tours have started, and I hope you guys enjoyed the build. I had a lot of fun putting it together, and I will see you next time around. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for me. Bye-bye.